Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
What if your emotional life didn't have to feel like a constant reaction or a constant recovery? Welcome to the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic, a global online clinic offering psychotherapy, coaching, integrative well-being services, and mind-body practices, all in one place. At International Awareness Integration Institute, we don't just talk about change, we train it. Our work is guided by awareness integration theory, an evidence-based psychological and educational model designed to reduce anxiety and depression patterns, strengthen emotional regulation, and help you build a life that feels meaningful, steady, and fulfilling. Whether you're navigating stress, relationship strain, burnout, life transitions, trauma symptoms, or simply the feeling that you've outgrown your old life, you'll find a clear path forward here, supported by licensed professionals and expert practitioners. If you're ready to feel better, think clearer, and live fully, join the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic today. Visit awarenessintegration.com and book your first session or join our membership.
Sometimes greatness is there undistinguished, unrecognized, right? We can call it potentials maybe. But when the greatness accompanied with talent and potential is showing up, for example, you can see in art such as filmmaking or screenplaying, some people just capture the essence of that emotions and feelings, which we can connect, we can relate, right? We see it in a sport, professional sport. Some people are above that line of excellence, the greatness showing up in their actions. On the very minimum level in the life of, let's call, for the sake of lack of word, ordinary life, right? I don't think anybody wake up in the morning and think, what is my greatness, right? Usually other people around us, they get present to that greatness and they're pointing it out, right?
Introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today. If you've been doing your best, but still feel stuck in anxiety, relationship stress, or the weight of old patterns, this is where things begin to shift. At the Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic, we offer something different. We provide two pathways forward. In psychotherapy, our licensed clinicians help heal unresolved trauma, reduce anxiety and depression, and navigate life transitions. In coaching, our certified coaches help you build confidence, leadership, and relationship mastery, turning insight into decisive action. Both are guided by Dr. Foojan Zain's evidence-based awareness integration theory, a structured roadmap from awareness to integration to action. During our summit, save 25% on all services from March 22nd through 29th. Visit awarenessintegration.com to book your first session or request to be matched with the right provider.
Welcome to The Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Zain. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm an author and the founder of the Awareness Integration Institute. Today, I will be talking to a colleague, amazing co-authors, and a tremendous, amazing friend, which I've had for decades and decades. He has been on my show probably more than anyone else, because he keeps writing 10 books per year. And that's why I love to have him here to share with you. Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh. is an accomplished business manager and a personal and professional development expert with over 3 decades of field experience working with individuals, teams, and organizations. He's widely known as a dynamic executive coach, business coach, organizational development, human resource development, and workplace learning and performance practitioner, trainer, author, and speaker. Using his talents as a passionate, imaginative leader, he achieves exceptional achievements in a rapid time. Dr. Bakhshandeh brings his extensive experience and successful track record to each project, whether it is for personal or professional development, organization development, change interventions, team building, implementing customer-focused programs, or redesigning operational core processes or delivering strategic initiatives. To date, he has written 18 books on personal and professional development, transformation, coaching, and organization development. One of them with me that came out the beginning of actually it came out last year, 2025, and it's combining the awareness integration theory into the organizational development, and so it's called Awakened Leader. But today we will be talking about his latest book, The Conspiracy for Greatness, using coaching to initiate change and improvement through awareness and transformation. But an amazing talk about all of his learnings. This book was originally published in 2008, and it's a whole revamp of bringing all of what he has learned into this book again, and it's out for public. Now, be sure to subscribe to my podcast, my YouTube channel, and connect with me through my website, foojanzain.com. But come to our institute at awarenessintegration.com. We have a tremendous, amazing group of coaches, of psychotherapists, mind and body practitioners, functional medicine that is there to serve you. And also go to Foojan app, and we'll also work with Mira, who's the AI chatbot, which is trained in the awareness integration. Share your thoughts with me. I love to hear from you. Now, without further ado, here's Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Now, sometimes the mind understands, but the body still holds the stress. That's why the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic offers mind-body services that help you regulate your nervous system, restore calm, and return to yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Our reflective practices include guided mindfulness, breath work, yoga, and grounding exercises, and specifically curated to support emotional regulation and physiological calm. Our somatic integration practices are a refined body-led approach where healing begins with presence, working with breath, sensation, posture, and gentle movement so resilience becomes felt, not forced. And for those who want deeper whole person support, we offer functional well-being guidance, addressing the interplay between hormonal balance, digestion, sleep architecture, and lifestyle factors with a root cause holistic framework. This is not self-care as a luxury. This is self-regulation as a life skill and a pathway to fulfillment. Choose the support your body and life have been asking for. Visit awarenessintegration.com to join a weekly meditation, explore somatic healing, breathwork, yoga-inspired movement, or functional medicine services, and start feeling the difference.
Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh, it's so nice to see you again.
Hi, Dr. Foojan. It's a pleasure to be with you again. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, we're going to talk about your latest book, The Conspiracy for Greatness. And this is your second edition. The book came out many, many years ago.
2008.
2008, yes.
Yeah.
And now, so almost 18 years later, You've revamped, you brought everything that you've ever known and brought all of these years into it and kind of shifted and changed. And I had the privilege and the honor of also writing the foreword. So I'm really excited about everybody getting to know about this book. So first of all, how come you went back and wanted to add to this book and kind of revamp it for it to be new?
Yeah, well, this is my first two books are self-published. I was an unknown person who interested to publish, so I had a difficulty hooking with any publisher. Had no history of publication, and basically I had no time. I had an office in San Diego, San Luis, Missouri, and Scranton, Pennsylvania, traveling between them a lot. And everybody was asking me, Behnam, why you not writing a book? And I was like, I don't have time. But then I thought, if a coaching client tell me I have a dream, but I don't have time to go forward, what would I ask them? What would I coach them on? I asked myself a simple question. Where you waste most of your time? And I thought, in the flights. I was flying from town to town, 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, right? I said, that is the time to you write. Just write what you want to say. So I used to put a headset with the classical Persian music, which I love, and I start writing, literally writing. Then I give it to editor for better English, correct grammars and stuff. It took me 2 years. Literally took me 2 years. And according to one of my close friends, he said, you gave up all the farm, 440 pages, cut it in 2 editions. I said, no, I want to give as much as I can. And it was really my passion about how we as a human being, nobody's no better than you in the domain of psychology. We are our own worst critic. We are our own worst enemy about stopping everything and listening to our negative inner chatter about how hard it is. Who wants to buy book with the name this long? Who wants to listen? And according to so many beautiful clients of mine, said, we can hear your accent as we read it. So on that limitation, which I put upon myself, right? I said, you know what? I'm going to go self-published. And Dr. Foojan, up to date, that self-edition sold over 2,000 copies.
Yeah, I have one.
I know you have a signed one because I adore you as my friend. So literally, then, since then, I published near 18 books. I'm under contract, one with you, the Awareness Leadership, which is doing so well. And I'm under contract for 7 more. I think I did something good when the publisher contacted and said, hey, we want you to write about this, right? So then I realized since 2008, I learned a lot. Maybe I want to expand on this book and bring business to it. Because the first book kind of covered personal issues, which is impact, obviously, professional issues, because individuals running business. So I don't care, in home and a business is the same way. So the publisher, Taylor and Francis, tweaked the wordings and said, we're going to publish the second edition in regards to what stopping people in productivity and performance, which is not far away from in-home, workplace, or family. So the first book was 6x9 size, 440 pages. This is 7x10 size, 542 pages on fine print, like number 11. When I was going through the final version, I was like, wow, is anybody really going to read this? But I said, I hope so. I hope so. Anyway, it's exciting. I was talking to Cindy, my life partner, about who thought an immigrant came here 40 years ago with not a word of English, $100 in his pocket, and then today I'm not well known, but I'm known and respected amongst colleagues and clients and family. And people say, "Hey, Behnam, do you want to get retired?" I said, "I'm already retired, but I just play, read, research, and write."
Yes,
Amazing.
absolutely.
I'm so grateful. And as a matter of fact, Taylor and Francis already pick up my second self-published book that will come next year. We talk about that next year. But I am very passionate about this book. It's my baby, right? My first self-published book that's becoming now worldwide available.
Beautiful. Now let's talk about greatness, because I think that greatness is, it's a mouthful. It's not. It's something that people, I think, strive for, and yet they get intimidated by it. And there's so much of the dichotomy between I want to strive for that, and many times I've noticed that when I work with clients, and even for myself, there's something about when we look at greatness, we usually look outside of ourselves and look at who's out there that is great. And then, we compare ourselves and whether I can be or not be, or, I can be envious of it, or, we take them as role models, but then not necessarily looking at our own greatness. And then there's a difference between, who you are on integrity on greatness, or you are just fluffing yourself and tooting your own horn, and out of your ego, or whether it's truly you living the truth of your greatness. So let's first define what you mean by greatness.
Well, sometimes greatness is there undistinguished, unrecognized, right? We can call it potentials maybe. But when the greatness accompanied with talent and potential is showing up. For example, you can see in art such as filmmaking or screenplaying, some people just capture the essence of that emotions and feelings, which we can connect, we can relate, right? We see it in a sport, professional sport. Some people are above that line of excellence, the greatness showing up in their actions. On the very minimum level in a life of, let's call, for the sake of lack of word, ordinary life, right? I don't think anybody wake up in the morning and think, what is my greatness, right? Usually other people around us, they get present to that greatness and they're pointing it out, right? They're pointing it. I remember I had the pleasure to work with Landmark Education for near 8 years. And I remember a couple of people saw that greatness upon me. They saw it and they said, you have something that you can actually develop in a much deeper level, right? You as a psychologist, you see that on people who play small or play safe, right? And you can see there is a certain greatness among them. I don't have a definition like a dictionary definition, but as I said, to me, the greatness is something that we have undistinguished for ourselves. And when we put ourselves in somebody else's perception of us, view of us, and trust their judgment, that greatness will show up more often, right? So I express my passion, my compassion, my vision in the coaching I delivered for years, right? That's why some people who I trust their opinion, including you yourself, pointed to me like, maybe you can write a book about this. Maybe you can express that. And I would say to my readers that your greatness is show on and show during you break through all your barriers. I don't care if it's art, movie, writing, a sport, or simple productivity in business. Swing, go out of your, what they call it, comfort zone. Then you will see that greatness. That's why I don't have a particular definition for it versus experience of it.
And the experience that I've gotten with what you also share in your book, but also my own experience in working with people is where you feel confident inside, where you're not only engaging your natural essence, but your natural essence also gains skill. So you
Absolutely.
bring these two pieces where I'm natural at something, which I think when I'm natural in something that I'm completely in the zone with it, right? And then you gain skills at it, so you're confident. So not only you're you're in the zone with it, but now you're confident in landing something, and that who you are at that time feels not only connected in oneness with yourself, but it feels exhilarating for you. Like no matter how long you're in this state, that it feels exhilarating. You don't get tired of this. It's not like work.
Exactly.
It's just your essence that is. And then the feedback from outside, as you said, is that other people also join in and experience it, and then they share it with you. Like we see you as this.
Dr. Foojan, that's why the title is Conspiracy for Greatness. Because that great people who empower you and lift you up are conspired to you see your greatness. What is the opposite, flip side of the conspiracy for greatness is a conspiracy for smallness. Oh, stay home. This is too hard. You're too old. You're too short. You're too fat. You're too big. Who have time for this? You don't have the money for that. Who gonna do this with you? All this coming to you like a opening a floodgate. Conspiracy is to keep you small. Maybe they are not even aware of do that. Maybe they think they're doing a favor to you to hold you back and not letting you get hurt or lose, versus conspiring for greatness, pushing you off the ledge, pushing you going after it. You know, uh, as I said, I don't have a definition for the greatness, but if you allow me, I wrote a note about when people go through discovering their own greatness. How do we do this in this book? This book assists readers to become aware of their ineffectiveness in their functioning, personal or business. Readers get pursued with the negative inner chatter that hold them back in effectiveness and relationships, communication, and productivity. Readers will get access to self awareness and begin having an intimate and appreciative relationship with themselves and others in their lives, personally or professionally. Readers will create powerful new vision for their lives and design practices to make that vision a reality. Readers begin to design and practice personal growth that would directly affect their professional development. And as you have wrote with me and you have read many of my books, I always add actual practice to the conceptual and theoretical approach. What make it real? How you do it, doing part, not the being part. So I hope I define greatness from my point of view.
Yes. So when you're looking at the greatness, I think that there's also the element of how do I, like you said, define it? How do I then bring it and live it internally and then externally? And then somehow, I think there's another issue arises is that when there are moments that I reach my greatness or live my greatness, that there are also times that I will also, be in my vulnerability or make a mistake or all of that. And some people see this as, I'm getting off my greatness. Well, this is also part of that greatness. So can you define, like when you say I'm looking at my ineffectiveness or things that are not working for me, and how can I bring this into the bigger picture of this versus the thought process that a greatness is something that I always have to come toward achievement, but there is a part of me that is flawed and I have to keep looking at the flaw. versus this is all part of the greatness.
Yes. So you use the word flaw, and that is what we all have in our head, right? People who come to that self-awareness, they own what we call the flaw, right? So they see it, they own it, and the breakthrough happens when they take responsibility for their thoughts, right? When they take responsibility that nobody told them you have a flaw. Now, in our younger life, we cannot distinguish things, right? I'll give you an example of myself, which is wrote in the book also. I was 4 or 5 years old. My older brother, Behzad, rest in peace, he was 18 months older than me, almost 2 years, right? And there's a big gathering in home, Iranian gathering, 200 people, cousins, family, right? And my father pointed to my brother and said, "Oh, Behzad is so smart." He never said, "Behnam is not smart." I heard in the age of 4 or 5, which I couldn't distinguish, right? Uh-oh, if Behzad is a smart one, then I must be dumb one. Simple equation. And if I'm a dumb one, how can I get people to pay attention to me? I become charming. Today, I'm 69 tomorrow actually, up to today, when there's a family gathering, a close friends gathering, I'm the charming one. I'm the one who make jokes, make people laugh. Then I realized a couple of years later, age of maybe 6 or 7, the second gear is being a charming kid is not enough. It's not going to make me win. I got to be reliable. I got to be accountable. So I become hard worker. I deliver deadlines. I don't miss deadlines. People can count on me on the project. All for flipping being a dumb one. When I saw that, I said, "Oh my God, how much of that I put among myself that I have this flaw." Graduate 2 master's degree with a 4.0. Graduate my Ph.D. with a 3.98 because I had 1 A minus. So all is about to prove I'm not a dummy one, right? And nobody said you're a dummy one. I said it. So I can't do that. I'm too old. I listen to people who they think they're benefiting us by hold us back is to flip the other side of our criticism of ourselves. Now, in my coaching model, I coach people in 3 very fundamental relationships. One, how do we see ourselves? How do we relate to ourselves? How do we see other people? Because if you notice, others are all over the place. We live with them, we marry them, we parent them, we work with them. Even we dream about them, even we're upset in our head about them, they're always there. There is a certain relationship we have with others. So relationship to oneself, relationship to others, give us effectiveness or ineffectiveness on a workplace. I hope it makes sense. This triangle, understanding of this triangle, give access to effectiveness, productivity, and peace of mind.
Well, thank you for explaining awareness integration theory, which we wrote to.
I'm sorry, I went too long.
No, it was beautiful because you're explaining the awareness integration theory of the relatedness to the external, to the, from others to us and to us to us. So there's a way to look at the greatness. You talked about being responsible. So first is, how to be aware of who I am and what I do and how I come across and the impact, which is, we also talked about that in the awareness integration, how to do all of this. So then it becomes that, okay, now that I have the knowledge, now that I'm aware, now can I take responsibility? And then it goes, you also share about how can I now be accountable? So what is it that I say my greatness is? the intention of living my greatness. And then from that greatness, how can I be accountable to my greatness? So can you share a little bit about this piece?
Yes, I bring that accountability and responsibility for being accountable into creating a vision that not explain, being expression of who you are, right? And through this book originally, and then through the expansion of it, and I brought it even to organization development, coaching, and intervention that I offer as a company, is the same way, individual or a company, same kind of function, right? Having a vision that that expression of who you are. I saw this collapse of definitions. Many organizations write their missions first, then, if they see it, write their vision. And when I brought it up to them, they see how they replace it. What do I mean by that? Vision is all about who you are being, or who this company stands for. It's about being, never end. The vision never end. It's like keep going. And then what are we going to do to that being fulfilled? That's management. Being is about leadership. Vision is about leadership. Mission is about management. How are we going to do this? Now, imagine as a person, if we have a vision, right? I wrote my vision: life fulfilled, passion, joy, and laughter expressed, inspired by people's success, having fun, and creating abundance. My business is about that. My life is about that. I framed it and put it in front of me for decades. That, are you being that today? Are you being that with your clients or not, right? And the mission is come to, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do that by bringing possibilities for other people. In coaching, I do. The doing, the management, fulfill the being, the vision. So how do we bring the greatness in a nuts and bolts kind of reality in time, in actual time? Is what are you visioning about your life? How do you see yourself 40 years from now? I cannot see myself 40 years now, but 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I designed that. What is my life is about in the next 40 years? Suddenly, obstacle, which is very normal, expected elements of living life, obstacles. It's coming without you asking for it. Don't invite it. They will show up, right? If you have a big, large enough vision. If you play a small and sitting in the corner, you never have obstacles. But if you want to fulfill that vision, you can bet life will show up as obstacles. And if you see your greatness and being really committed to that vision, a step by step, you're creating inside your mission statement, creating action plan that fulfill that vision through this hardship of obstacles, but you are alive. You might be tired, but you fulfilled and you're happy.
And what is the byproduct of living in your greatness? Because there's a byproduct that it has. So one is the striving. One is, we're never in balance, so we're always going back and forth. So there's a constant of, I'm going to keep living in my greatness. And what is the byproduct of that? So when you choose your greatness, when you choose to live your greatness, how would that manifest itself in life and in your relationships with others?
I can share about my own experience, and I can give you some examples of some of great clients that work with me for many years. For myself is I find my life work. I was a very successful construction company owner. On 96, I literally sold my share to my partner. On 93, I decided this is not inspires me. Bigger contract, bigger building, bigger this, more money. And then I was like, okay, what now? Not feeling fulfilled. When I decided I wanted to switch my career, literally 3 years transaction between 93 to 96. And 96, I shut down. Fulfillment, I could say personal fulfillment is one of the, I can say, byproduct for me. Living a life with purpose, making a difference. And this morning, Foojan, this morning, I will talk to Cindy. I wake up and I thought, I am making a difference. And nothing can replace that. Now, obviously, I have to do some living called paying expenses. Make some income, right, to pay the expenses. Believe me, I'm not a hippie. I don't want to stay in a corner and just have kumbaya, life will show up. No, very responsible. But money is not what I'm looking to do every day. What I'm looking to do as a byproduct is, how do I fulfill that vision? Did I make a difference today? And funny is, I had so far, knocked the wood, 33 years, zero money on marketing. People coming, people here, and they contact me. I saw people as a practitioner in their business, like somebody who worked as a mechanic, somebody who worked as a nurse, somebody who worked as a hairstylist, business owner. Through the coaching, they start their own business. They expand their business. They open new branches. They open new salon. They open the second location as a byproduct of when they saw their greatness is in the management and experience versus doing a job. I told them, you can be a practitioner or you can be a leader in this business, in this industry. One of them is much larger, that demand your leadership qualities, demand you as a visionary. All these things that I'm telling you, if somebody says, show it to me, if I say, hey, computer mouse is here, you can buy it from here or there. But if I say visionary, there is no tangible things that you can hand that to people, except you're asking them, what is your vision and how do you see yourself as a visionary? So if I would sum it up in general, the byproduct, I would say self-respect, self-fulfillment, effectiveness in relationships, effectiveness in work, and effectiveness in your relationship to yourself. You don't doubt yourself. Suddenly the self-doubt would evaporate. I hope I make sense.
And I think there's a balance to know that it's like a pendulum, right? That the more that you see the greatness in yourself, you cherish it, and you share yourself with the world from that angle. But there's also the other side of it, which you will also experience your vulnerability and have your vulnerability be out.
Absolutely.
I know for myself, I know that the more that I've become more confident about who I am and to share it with the world, but I've also shared my vulnerabilities with the world, and that has become part of the greatness, right? So when I talk, everybody who knows me, they know me as a crier, because I experience myself and my full emotion, and in that essence of my full emotion, I express it. So, I go on, international stages as a speaker, and I begin with crying, and I'm like, don't worry, I could do both things. So you could experience this vulnerabilities, or when I'm sad about something, I'll just cry and say I'm sad about it. So there's this level of the transparency that shows up
and authenticity,
because you honor all parts of yourself. And then because you're taking responsibility for the impact, it's not just that, I'm going to internally have a conflict about this. I'm just going to pretend, to be kind of like a politically correct in how I show up. I actually look at how the internal conflict is, and the internal conflict can be shared in a way that also upgrades my greatness or anyone. So I just want to share with that what I've learned in the concept of greatness in your book is to have this grace with yourself to see that all of it is part of the greatness. So your vulnerability
Absolutely.
is the things you made a mistake is part of this. It's and the effectiveness, how you've made an impact in the world. They're all part of this greatness.
Absolutely. I always tell to my clients, I failed more than I succeed in life. However, notice I don't promote my failures because I choose to look at my greatness, right? And failure in life is not equal, we are failures. We failed in projects, we failed in some particular pursuing something, right? Like divorcing, right? I have 3 divorces. And people asking me, why do I have to listen to you about love and intimacy and relationship? I said, why not? Who can tell you better than me what doesn't work, right? So I can, but as you mentioned, the vulnerability. In my book, I talk many chapters about my failures in the project, in business, in relationship, right? But then I will take responsibility for the greatness, to be the greatness of authentic and real and have integrity, to not making myself look, I am the greatest. Look at me, right? Versus, look at me, I failed, but I stand up and clean the mud out of my face without making anybody else wrong or point a finger that was their fault. No whatsoever. Many people might not like this, but in the book I said, what if you're the only one in this earth? Who's responsible for your happiness? Who's responsible for your failure? Who's responsible for your success? Only you. Another thing I would like to mention, Dr. Foojan, the purpose of the book, I mentioned it in the opening of the book. This book I wrote down with the 4 main purpose. One, coaching, obviously, for whoever's reading it, right? The second one, to very strongly relevant personal growth to professional growth, to professional success. So there's a lot of back and forth of distinctions applied to personal and to professional. Third one is support other coaches to read this and learn from it and apply it. I don't have a copyright in coaching in the world. Use what I learned and make a difference for other people. And the last one is to introducing 7 different coaching approach, including your best work, AIT, awareness integration theory, ontological approach, positive psychology, emotional intelligence, appreciative inquiry, strength-based coaching, mindfulness, and awareness integration theory, that all of them make a difference for different purposes, for different interests on people and how they like to be coached. It's like, therapy is not a one route. It depends to interviewing a client, which approach works better. Same thing here. So I am very happy about it.
Awesome. Everyone, get this book, Conspiracy for Greatness, Using Coaching to Initiate Change and Improvement Through Awareness and Transformation by Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh.
And forward with Dr. Foojan Zain, which I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Is there anything we haven't shared, Dr. Bakhshandeh, that you really want people to know?
No, just it's a pleasure to coach people. It's a pleasure to being trusted by people. It's an honor for somebody who invests some dollars to buy our books and read it. To me, I don't take it for granted. This book is scheduled to come out on end of May. It's already available in Amazon and many other platforms.
Beautiful. And if people want to find you, they can also find you in Primeco Education. And we also have the privilege and the honor to have you on our platform, which is awarenessintegration.com,
My pleasure.
offering your wonderful coaching, business coaching, and also a lot of your seminars. So people can also go to awarenessintegration.com, find you and find your seminars, and really enjoy all these years of not only a personal development for you, but also business development, and how you've brought so much of your experience into your work and share it with the world. So thank you for your time and constantly sharing your beautiful wisdom and heart with everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Foojan. Thank you for your time, and thank you for always being my partner. I appreciate you.
And for all of you who are out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, bye-bye.
Awareness, integration theory, certification programs. If you're a psychotherapist, clinician, or coach ready to elevate your impact, I invite you to become certified in the Awareness Integration Theory, AIT model. AIT is a structured, evidence-informed approach that strengthens emotional regulation, reduces anxiety and depression patterns, and helps clients create lasting change. Our training is practical, clear, and immediately usable in sessions, so you can work with more confidence and consistency. Join a global community of practitioners shaping the future of integrative mental health. Become AIT certified today. Visit awarenessintegration.com.